Today I'm trying to use up my overabundance of zucchini. We have a lot of zucchini coming in from the garden, which is never a bad thing if you ask me. We love to eat it. We eat it roasted and sautéed, and of course in cakes and breads and things like that. It's really good to do those things with it, as well as make pickles and relishes and those type of things. I'm going to share a cake recipe that I found another time when I had an overabundance of zucchini back in 2018, and I found it on the Pinch of Yum website. So I will link in the description below to that post that I found all those years ago, and you can go and check out everything she says about this recipe. It's really simple and it's really tasty. You can also print it out there on her website if you'd like to. I had it wrote down, but I went ahead and printed it out to make sure. Over the years I've changed one or two things, but today I'm going to try to make it just like she did. With the exception of one thing. It calls for poppy seeds, and I don't have any poppy seeds. I don't think I've ever made it with poppy seeds. If I did, it was only the first time, and then after that I didn't buy any poppy seeds. It's just not something I have, so I didn't use them. But the first step is we'll do it, and then I'll kind of go over the rest of the ingredients and everything like that, because it takes a few minutes for it to kind of drain the zucchini. You know, if you're familiar with cooking with zucchini, you know it can be very, very liquidy, very moist, very wet, which is really great for those cakes and breads because it gives it, you know, makes it a moist cake. I've got a lot of different cake recipes that use zucchini. So, but first of all, we need to mix part of our brown sugar. We're going to use brown sugar in the recipe, and I should say right to begin with, this is a olive oil cake, so that's kind of rather strange. When I first made it, I thought, well, that's weird. I don't know if I like that or not, but we did. We loved it. So I've got 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I've got my zucchini in here, which is 3 cups, and I'm just going to mix it around. It's strange. I know the first time I did it, I thought, why do you do it this way? I'm not really sure why you do it this way, but it works. So all these years I've just kept doing it. I think probably one reason I was drawn to this recipe when I found it one day when I was looking for something to do with my zucchini was the brown sugar. I love brown sugar, and that's the type of sugar that's in this cake. So once you've got it all stirred around good, this is the part that takes a few minutes. We're going to let's just put it over top of this for a minute, and then I'm going to swap it back to this one. We're going to put it out in a drainer, a sieve, a colander, whatever you've got, because we want some of that liquid to seep out. And I'm going to kind of push it down a little bit. Already stuff's coming out, so I'll have to discard that. And then I'm going to put it back in here. The other suggestion that she in her on her website there in the blog post was that to kind of speed that process up, I'm going to put some water in this bowl and I'm going to set it on top of it for a weight. While I'm doing that, though, I'm going to get rid of what dripped out too. Just to weight it down a little bit. Now I'll go over the rest of the ingredients while that's draining. I usually try to let it drain about 10 minutes. So let's see, let me look at the clock and see what time it is so I know if I really did that today or not. So you need 3 cups of grated zucchini. I like to, not only do I like to make this cake like this and the other ones, but I also like to, our overabundance of zucchini, one thing I do with it is I go ahead and grate it and put it in the measurements that I would use, whether it's for this recipe or for one of the others that I make, and then I freeze it like that. So if it's a cold January day and I decide I want to make this cake, I can just get out the zucchini, let it thaw, and then start from there. I find it really handy that way. We're going to grate zest of 2 large lemons, which I've already done right here. And I'm going to take these lemons now that I've got all the lemon rind off of them, and I'm going to make us some lemonade, I think, just real quick. We could have that for supper tonight. Go with our supper, make it special. 3 large eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil. That's the kind of strange part. 2 cups of brown sugar. This is different too. You know, it always says packed brown sugar. This says packed lightly, so you don't have to pack it. or it actually says packed softly. 2 cups of brown sugar packed softly. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. 3 tablespoons poppy seeds, which I don't have. And then optional, I've never done either one of these, but you might like it. Optional, you can do a tiny pinch of nutmeg, and also optional, you can do a small grated piece of fresh ginger. I've never done that, but I bet I would like that one, but I've never done it, and I'm not going to do it today. So then we're going to, once this is draining here, once that's done, we're going to preheat the oven to 350. In a small mixing bowl, mix the zucchini with 1/4 cup brown sugar. Transfer the mixture to a fine mesh strainer set over the mixing bowl. Fill another small bowl with water and set it directly on top of the zucchini so that it is pushing down, pressing the water out into the bowl below. So we've already done that. Add wet ingredients. Line a 9x5 loaf pan with parchment paper. I've done that. I've got it over there. I have not turned my oven on though. I should do that. And then we're going to whisk together the remaining brown sugar. So let's just go ahead while we're reading. Let's just go ahead and do that part. So the remaining brown sugar, this is the 2 cups, except I took that 1/4 of a cup out to put it with the zucchini there. So we're going to do the, really it's just basically you put it all together, but I'm just trying to do it for y'all the way she says to do it. So there's my eggs. One of my egg yolks busted on me. Let's see if we can get it all. Okay. My lemon zest. To make sure I get all that in it. I like this because it's really easy to whip up too. You don't have to drag out the mixer or anything like that. So that's nice. Try to get all that. Put my lemons right here. And that's a lot of lemon zest, but that's what makes it so good. It's so bright and just perfect. Just a brightness all that lemon zest gives it. Vanilla, under vanilla here. And then we're going to mix that up till it's well blended. I've got my little whisk here, we'll just use it. Got 1 lump of brown sugar. I don't want to, it's a little hard rock. Sometimes that happens, you know. And I can't seem to get it to mix up. Oh well, maybe it'll bake up good. Maybe that'll be okay. Okay, now we're going to gradually add the olive oil as you're whisking. Of course, you could do this in a mixer if you wanted to, but I like it that it's so easy. And when you first start putting the olive oil in there, it's separate, you know, so it takes it a few minutes for you to actually get it all combined thoroughly. At first, it's all separated. You've got cake batter and you've got oil. So it may take it a few minutes. Okay, I think I've got it all mixed in. Now we're going to add our flour. And then I've got all of the leavening, the salt, the baking powder, and the baking soda all in here. So we're going to add it. Make sure to get it all. And mix it in. Now I've got all of the stuff mixed up. I'm going to switch from my whisk while I make a really big mess there and get my spatula back so that if you use a whisk like this with a zucchini, it just gets all twisted in there. Now it's been almost 10 minutes. It's been 9 minutes, so I'm going to call that good enough. Discard my water here. Make sure I get all the zucchini off. And then we're going to add the zucchini. Ooh, and just mix it in. The batter's kind of stiff, but once you add the zucchini, it loosens back up. Okay, got it all mixed up. I'm going to get my pan with my parchment paper and just pour it in. I just now went over and oh, I still didn't. Oh, I forgot all about the oven, so went over to preheat it, and I put it on 350, but I didn't, as we would say, mash start. I didn't mash start, so now I have. It was beeping at me though. It was telling me I hadn't done that. Let's see if we can get it in here. Okay, I've got it all in there, but now we're gonna have to wait for the oven to come to heat. And we're gonna cook it for about an hour and 10 minutes, so it'll take about that long. The outer crust, I don't know if I read this or not, the outer crust of the bread will be firm to the touch and on the darker side of golden brown. So while I'm waiting for the oven, I'll kind of try to clean up my mess and then see what else I can do with some of that zucchini. I got everything cleaned up. I'm going to do some things with the zucchini, but first I'm going to make my lemonade. Once you take the zest off of a lemon or an orange or anything, you need to use it up pretty quick, so I'm going to do that. I was just going to make it, and then I remembered my recipe actually is in mine and Jim's cookbook, Celebrating Southern Appalachian Food. I'll just read you the little parts real short, and lemonade is easy. You probably have made it many times. But lemonade, you just need lemon, water, and sugar. I've got the sugar and water over there on the stove. But this is what I wrote. Granny didn't make lemonade often, but when she did, the day seemed to be extra special. My brother Paul and I would run around the kitchen, hurraying and clapping for the cold, delicious beverage Granny set on the table for us. When I first decided to make a picture of Granny's lemonade, I called her and asked her for the recipe. She said, "Goodness, I don't have a recipe. Just bring some sugar and water to a boil, cut some lemons and put them in your pitcher, pour the sugar water over them, fill the pitcher the rest of the way with water, and let it sit for a while." So I love those memories, and I don't make lemonade very often either, but we really love it when I do. And that's on page 235 if you have the cookbook. So I've got some water and some sugar over there. Really just need to cook it until the sugar is thoroughly melted. Is what you're doing. So there's no right or wrong way for that. And then I'm gonna just cut up the lemons and put them in my container here. I don't usually try to get the seeds out. I just usually leave them unless they're really easy. Maybe squeeze it a little bit when you put it in there. And then as we drink it, if you get a seed, you just have to get it out. You can pour it through a little tea strainer too if you wanted to. And I'm only using 2 lemons. Sometimes I use more than that, but sometimes probably I've made it where I just had 1 lemon if I wanted to use up the lemon. A lot of people ask me about this old jar that I used a lot. I'm not sure what come in it. Seems like one of you told me. Maybe it was vinegar, I don't know. But it was Miss Cindy's grandmother, so it's Matt's great-grandmother's is where it come from. And Miss Cindy remembered her having it and using it for, that's what she put her fresh milk in, some of her milk, after they'd milked the cows. I guess that was what this was the drinking milk probably, is what I figure. So, whew, I'm squirting lemon. Sometimes when I make lemonade, I will do this process, but then I will, like once we drink all of this and there's still lemons in the bottom, I'll just make more sugar water to put over it, because the lemons with the rind, even though I've took some of the zest, and then of course the inside of the lemon will stay lemony for a good long while. Okay, now that I've got that, I'll get rid of the few seeds I did get out, and once the water gets warm, I pour it in and fill the rest of it up with cold water, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator. And it'll be better tomorrow than it is today, but we'll drink it today. Okay, that's already melted, so I turned it off. I'll let it cool a little bit before I pour it into my jug there. Clean up all my lemons I squirted. I'm going to go back to my zucchini. First thing I'm going to do is just continue to grate some so that I can put it in the freezer. And I'll do it, since I've got this recipe out, of course I'll do it for like 3 cups. I think I don't have to think, we can look in here. Look for my zucchini bread recipe in here. Those are usually the 2 that I would make. Now I make like a chocolate zucchini cake that's really good also, but I make the bread and this one more than that. Let's see. Lots of zucchini in here. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I wanted to double check. I need 2 cups for the bread. So I can do some 3 cups and some 2 cups. And then, let's see what else is in here. Okay, squash and zucchini pickles. We're not going to do that today, although I do need to make some soon. Okay, I think that's it. Unless I wanted to make some for the chocolate, and I probably won't do that. Okay, so now I just got to get to grating. I put it in my bowls, put it out in the bowl, and then as I'm putting in the freezer bags, I will measure and do accordingly. So I got it all packaged up. I just need to take it and put it in the freezer. We've got 2 big freezers downstairs. We're really blessed to have them. So I'll take it down there. Try to get all the air out of it first. And that will make some delicious breads and cakes this winter. I thought of another one, like a coconut one that I make. I think it takes 2 cups. I didn't look though. I think it does. Might even just take 1 cup, and if it did, I could make 2 and share, right? If I thought it up. I usually, when I'm freezing things like this, I put them on a tray, like a baking sheet, and I put that whole sheet into the freezer. And as it freezes, they'll stay flat. And then once, like in a day or 2, next time I'm in the freezer or I need this, I'll take the baking sheet out, and then all the zucchini will stand up straight instead of like turning into blobs, a giant blob. Just makes your freezer nicer, I think, neater, and lets you see easier what's in there. So now that I've got this done, got most of it done. Oh, there's one more bag. I've got 3 little ones and 1 kind of big one, and I think Matt's helping me do supper tonight, so you might have seen him in here. He's gone out to shuck some corn right now from Farmer Tim down the road. And he's been over there getting his meat ready. He's going to make some deer meat. And I think I'll just, pretty simple supper with the corn and the deer meat. And I'm just going to, I've got one more. I'm going to, I think just saute one of those. Probably that big one with some onion and some spices. And I think we'll just eat it like that tonight. It'll be really easy. Really easy and quick. Okay, now I've got all those. Just need to carry them downstairs and clean up my mess, and then chop that up. See if I can do the lemonade first though. I don't know. I'm gonna let it cool a little bit longer. I sure don't want to damage my glass jar that's so old. So I'll take these and clean up and then saute the other. Matt's supper's coming right along, so the cake is smelling wonderful. The whole house smells good. I'm going to go ahead and chop up the onion and the zucchini so that I can get them started. Matt's better at spicing things than I am. You want to spice this up for me? Can I get them in there?
Shoot, yeah. I'm kind of spicy kind of guy.
You are a spicy kind of guy.
I spice up your whole life.
You do. You add spice to my life. That's true.
It's just the wrong kind of spice.
No, it's the best kind of spice.
Are you may spice, whether you get it all in there or you just want to do the onions?
Ever how you want to. I was going to start the onions a little bit before because zucchini cooks so quick.
Yeah.
Could slice these too.
Let's see.
Definitely will have to, that bigger piece.
Get a bit of that. What are you cooking them in?
Butter and maybe olive oil. What is that?
Oil, so that stuff will stick. So that's okay?
Yeah. There you go. Have at it. Guess you could throw them in there for me. And add some olive oil to it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the onions have been cooking just for a few minutes. So I'm going to add all the zucchini now. I may put a lid on it just to try to encourage it to hurry itself along. And a lot of this, or all of this zucchini will cook down once it may look like I'm putting too much, but it'll cook down and it'll be okay. I need to use some more of the seasonings that Matt did. Let's see what he left out for me. And some garlic. Of course, you could put whatever you wanted to, and if it was left up to me, that's why I said Matt does better than me. I usually just use salt and pepper, so I'll put some salt and some pepper. Just a little bit of oregano. Okay. The cake just has about 2 more minutes for me to check and see if it's done or if I need to let it cook a little bit more. I'm going to cover this. Actually, I'm going to be really, so one less dish to wash. I'm going to cover it with that. Zucchini and onions are done. I even grated a little Parmesan on top to make it fancy, Corey. I think so. Got the corn in. I got the cake out of the oven. Corey's got green beans she put in the oven. Oh, you got some blueberries? Those for me? Thank you. And Matt's got the deer meat, so as soon as the corn's done, we're ready to eat. Then we can dive into the cake. But we had a delicious supper. Now we're ready for some cake. See how it is. I forgot to get the lemonade out though. I got it out when I ate, but everybody else had already got their plate when I got my plate. Oh, you got some? Okay, good. Well, Corey was feeding Woodrow, so she was really the last to eat. Alright. Let's see if we can try a piece. Corey said she could smell the lemon. I don't know how many people want one.
That's a beautiful cake.
It is really pretty cake. You want a whole piece or you want half of one or whole piece?
Yeah, hold it.
Matt, you want to try?
I'll get some more, huh?
Matt's not even going to try. Corey's going to try with me.
What is it? Is it lemonade?
Now the cake.
Yeah, I'll get some more.
I like that. The lemon is the largest flavor, I guess.
The
in
star
it.
of the show. Oh. I like that though. You
Yeah.
can still taste the zucchini.
And the olive oil makes it really moist. I think it's good like this. It's good at room temperature, but it's also good if you put it in the refrigerator and eat it cold. And I got that tip from the original post where I learned about it. It's really the texture is really nice, if that makes sense. What a delicious supper we had. And I managed to use a lot of my zucchini that I had on hand. There's more growing outside, but everybody liked which is real simple, zucchini and onions. Of course, the cake, it's better than the onions and zucchini, I think.
They were really good though.
They were good though. And then I put some in the freezer, so I'll be able to use those this winter, make this again. Well, I hope you enjoyed spending time with me in the kitchen today. Got something flying around us. As I tried to use up my zucchini, I succeeded. We had a wonderful supper, got some in the freezer, and had this beautiful, wonderful cake. So it's been a good day. We're always glad when you stop by to help us celebrate Appalachia. Are you coming for the cake too? You're just going to take the whole thing? Okay. Bye.